Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
Give me the meat, and give it to me raw.
What's the matter? Take yourself a great big bite of meat. Taste the pleasure of the highest quality pork around.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob.
But we're told that we don't like any of this because we're misogynists. We just don't like this stuff because we're women. And the only reason we're unhappy about the Ray movie coming out, because, guys, did you hear the Ray movie was canceled and uncanceled? Did you hear that?
Dre, you heard that too, right?
I did hear it.
Wait,
I did hear it.
What did I do?
You said because we're women.
We hate it because we're women.
Okay. I said it. All right. Yeah, I see. Now Ariel just arrived, and she's going to make sure that I remember that.
Yes, we didn't want it to come out like this, but Adam is in fact trans. He's coming out of the closet. Him and Jeremy are in a relationship. It's time.
It's still there.
I didn't say that.
We want to enjoy what we're looking at. We don't want sores and fat whores.
Liar! No.
Let me be as clear as I can. Ain't no colors in Scandinavia.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Roundtable. I got one more. It's so short that I can't write it in there. So just this real quick. Yeah, I had to do that because it's going to piss her off when she sees it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Roundtable. You can see it's a different lineup this week because Dragon Lady is still with the family where she can't get good Wi-Fi. And Dre had some dental work done. So he is recovering from that. And we hope that the Novocaine did its job. Anyway,
don't say it like that. The message we got is he had oral and he couldn't.
I'm trying to be nice here. Come on.
He didn't say I had dental surgery. He's like, yeah, I got some oral that knocked me on my ass.
See, I'm trying to be nice because what has Dre done to deserve that? You know, Dre done done. Dre's a solid stand-up citizen. He doesn't deserve
Very
that
much
kind of
so.
hate. Anyway, yeah. So Dre is recovering and he'll be back next week. Anyway, so welcome. We're joined by Static this week, hopping in. Thanks, Static, for being here. How you doing?
Doing well. I have been playing a boatload of State of Decay 2
because you switched consoles, right?
Yep, we've got the stream coming up tonight on Horny Alf's channel, and I canceled my Game Pass account when this golf game asked me for my pronouns, so I moved over to Steam and had to start over.
What?
Yes,
golf game.
I missed.
I don't
that.
remember. It wasn't
missed
Tiger
that.
Woods. I know that much. It was some golf game. I like playing golf video games. All right, this is just nice, chill.
Sounds
thing.
relaxing. It sounds
And I hadn't played one in a while. They're like, "Oh, do the career thing." I'm like, "Okay." So I start making my golf, and they're like, "What's your golfer's pronouns?" And I'm like, "What the fuck? Who cares?"
Yep.
Like,
Yep. I can understand that. And see, Static needs to get beefed up because it's his fault that we had such a shit stream. Like he wasn't there last week. We didn't have his strength, his foundation to keep us alive. Because if anybody watched a couple weeks ago, the last State of Decay stream, it was an utter shit show. It was one bad decision after another. And Devil lost a character. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
See, I ran for the hills. I survived. Yeah. So tonight we will be on Horny Alf's channel, midnight. No, is it mid? Did he change the time, or is it still midnight?
No idea. I show up.
I think it's midnight Eastern. We'll be on there, trying to fight the zombie apocalypse and do our best with it. And we're in trouble right now on our current map. We are in a lot of trouble, so we have to do some stuff. So that's later tonight. Right now, we're here now. Hi, Jed. Did you enjoy Alien last night on the big screen?
I did, yes. So it was my first time watching Alien in the theater, and it was just great seeing it on that big of a screen. Definitely got more details I didn't otherwise. Had a great crew with me. Some of the Geeks and Gamers folks went with me. And yeah, that's just a great movie. So yeah, it was a very fun experience last night.
And if you guys want to watch Jedi Knight discuss it, go back and check it out on the Saturday Night Drive-In playlist, where we had it was a really great discussion, because that was Jed's first time seeing it, and it since then has cemented itself in his like top 5, safe to say right now.
Top 1.
Top 1. Oh wow.
Mhm.
See,
Yeah.
that's how much he's fallen in love with Alien. And one day we'll have discussion how wrong he is that it's better than Aliens. One day we'll have that discussion. Anyway, so we are here. We are here to have a good. I think we got a solid show today. Got a solid show. We're going to talk the Stellar Blade censorship controversy, because that is the gaming news. And I can't talk about it because I have my copy. I took a little doing because Walmart's a piece of shit, and I'm never buying a game at Walmart again because of this. I'm never going to, because they're assholes. So we're gonna talk that. We've got some Disney Degeneracy that kind of went under a little bit of the radar. Only a few people talked about it. I elected to save it for today because I felt it would be better for a panel discussion to look at this. And then, as always, because we're leading up to it, there's Doctor Who news. And RIP Doctor Who is more confirmed than ever. Before that, of course, we have to say hail and howdy to the chat. Hail both Algrim the Strong and Legatus Legion. It's my mods, my regulars, here to keep the peace and be my personal trolls when necessary. Hello to you, young man Jaden Hamilton, getting ready to go serve our country. Thank you, my young friend. Good afternoon, Kale. Hail to Shock, who joined me and Dermy last week on Anime Odyssey. Go check that out. It is still live. Hail to you, Ruben X. Huzzah, son of Joxer. Going on. Hail, Frank Blaskowitz. You haven't seen Aliens, just Alien. Well, then join us when we get to it for Drive-In. It'll be a good discussion. And hail to anybody just watching, not chatting. We're happy to have you here on what is always a busy Sunday afternoon. We hope you enjoyed the show. Hit that like button. Subscribe to everybody's links in the description below. And let's get started. Okay, here's a quick little warm-up, just because I need to express myself on it, even though I've done a lot I feel is showing so far a nice job on it. I just want to remind everybody that Velma Season 2 is hate-filled garbage. Mindy Kaling is untalented. She is ugly on the inside as much as on the outside. And I'm bringing this up for a couple of reasons. One, just to remind everybody that go watch my video, my review. Go watch it if you haven't watched it already. And secondly, and I'm bringing this up because of the Doctor Who conversation later on. I'm prefacing that. Because we review this stuff, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're helping it. Velma Season 2 was inevitable because of the way some of these production deals are done. They signed up originally for a 20-episode deal. So they did Velma Season 2 before Season 1 was even released. It was done. It was in the books. So us reviewing, us hate watching it had nothing to do with Velma Season 2 coming out now. No. And us watching it now and reviewing it only drives the nails in harder for the likely fact there will not be a Season 3 because of the negative reception. Because, guys, both of you're on social media. Have you seen anything?
No. You're the only person I even know of talking about it. And I reviewed the last season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me and Disper, that's all. Yeah.
That was one of my biggest videos. I'm curious, were they able to crank it up even more?
Yes.
Wow.
They added in hatred of religion in this one. They dump on Catholicism and faith in general big time. I left it out of my review because it was one of my one-take reviews where I was just going. And I forgot they shit on religion, but they make it as though Beyonce needs to be worshipped. And they literally had Beyonce be a spiritual experience for Velma in that thing.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, Mindy Kaling is a self-proclaimed Hindu.
Sure. That's really weird because Hinduism doesn't take conversion.
Right. She has expressed her desire to give her children a Hindu upbringing.
Well, I pity her children anyway, considering she's Mindy Kaling. But you haven't seen anything on this. There was no, I believe somebody said the other day there was a trailer. I never saw it. And if they
I
released
didn't
it,
even know that they did.
Mm-mm.
The
All
only
I
drama
saw-
that I've seen online is that picture of that classic goth chick from the old Scooby-Doo cartoons who was introduced in this one, and she just looks terrible. That is the one
Yeah.
and only thing I've seen people talking about. And
But
for
that's
people who
what
haven't
they're
seen the
talking
show,
about. I'm talking about the promotional marketing. Didn't
Yeah.
exist. There was one screen cap
No.
of a poster for it, and that was it.
I think that's a big sign that they're not even considering season 3.
Oh no, this thing is done. I mean, this is one of those things like that Seth Rogen Santa thing that has united the internet in hatred of it. Everybody hates this. There's no redeeming qualities to it. They installed everything. They took dumps on Looney Tunes inside it. They attacked Looney Tunes, and even while making fun of it, put the Looney Tunes in a manger replica, saying, "Who cares about
they're gonna
this?"
make fun of the cartoon that
Yeah.
made it what it is, like
Yeah.
without Looney Tunes. Holy
Yeah.
hell.
Yeah. So they did that. Not to mention that Looney Tunes is Warner Brothers and Scooby-Doo is Hanna-Barbera, or was, because now it's all on its
Right.
own. It's all owned by Warner Discovery now.
Mhm.
But that it would have been one thing back in the day when they were competing properties, but now it's just petty and it's shitting on it. And there were other things. The hatred of men was amped up massively.
How was it amped up?
What about
From I
white
understand.
dudes? It's
White
got to be
dudes.
white dudes.
It was all dudes.
Okay.
It was all dudes.
So I
Even
remember
black-
the season 1 was racist. as
Well,
fuck.
and I say all dudes because they made fun of the character Gigi's dad, who was a general and he's an incompetent, likes to hit nuclear missiles with a hammer because he likes the sound. I mean, and there was one point in the episode where they're convinced that the serial killer is a woman. So all the men in the town decide to lock all the women in the Crystal Cove caves. And all the women go down there and have a nice little party, and it's all nice and this and that. And all the men are all topside just effing around and not doing anything. And the women have to come out and correct everything. So it's amped up. The gay is off the charts. It's
The gay.
Jed mentioned the character from Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, who's the hot goth chick rocker, and that one comes back in this and has a they-them daughter,
Of
called
course.
Amber, who is supposed to be the You've seen the picture.
Yeah.
All the shaved head and
Well,
the sideburns and whatever.
This is going to be kind of a theme of the show, but I find it amusing that they purposely chose to draw pancake titties.
Yes. Well, everything's ugly in this. There's no beauty. There's no physical beauty in this show.
You can't make anyone feel
ugly.
bad if everyone's ugly.
Yeah.
The audience
Yeah.
doesn't have to feel bad.
And so the gay is off to our because Amber is supposed to be the sexual frustration between Velma and Daphne, who are starting their lesbian relationship. And there's even a red herring flag that, oh no, Daphne cheated on Velma with the they them, but she didn't really. They weren't even brave enough to actually try and have that conversation that she might have cheated on Velma. They just had her causing a curse because the they them is a witch or wants to be a witch, can see spiritual stuff. They did all kinds of stupid ghost shit. There's brain swapping, and Shock brings it up right here. Yes, Velma actually dies.
Oh, thank
At the
God.
end. She died, and she's a ghost at the end because it was set up so that she could kill the villain who was Scrappy Doo.
Oh, of course, because
And-
they couldn't fucking write anything original.
Yeah, so Scrappy Doo was the villain. He was there. He was the talking dog of the episode. His invincible dog that can't die. And they set up this whole thing where when a brain is removed from a body, it does create a separate consciousness ghost. So Velma kills Scrappy by invading his body and blowing him up from the inside out. It's
What the-
retarded. But she's dead. Her body is dead. So the season cliffhanger was, we're going to research using witch magic to resurrect you, but until then, don't get destroyed by another evil spirit. And then there's an evil spirit behind her, and it's over. And
I kind of want to watch it. Fuck, because I'm like, wait, there wasn't even a Scooby Doo.
There was an Uncle Scooby. It was Velma's, or her, not exactly her stepmom, her dad's girlfriend, dressed up in a dog catcher's uniform because she couldn't get no respect as a woman, so she had to pretend to be a man to get her ideas heard.
Oh, I thought you were going to say she couldn't get any respect as a woman, so she got dressed up as a dog.
That's what I thought so too.
I wish, because they called her Uncle Scooby in the show. So it's
So Scooby trans.
So Scrappy wasn't even a dog.
it was a dog, but with another brain in it that they created to be invincible. And he got the name when they combined Scrappy and Shitty or something. it's massively stupid. And he keeps doing his puppy power stuff, and he's insane. He's biting the dicks off the corpses. I mean, it's you heard me, biting the dicks off.
I want to be able to go back in time and tell my grandparents while my mom and dad are watching this cartoon and say, Velma and Daphne are going to be in a lesbian relationship in 40 years, 50 years. What do you think?
And neither one's going to be hot.
Right. Well, I mean, that's besides the point. They're going to be sexualized at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so there's a quick thing about Velma season 2. I wanted to get it off my chest. I wanted to express it and driving the point, which we're going to come back to with the Doctor Who discussion at the end of the show. Just because we review this stuff doesn't mean it gets more seasons. Some people have to understand that. It's about, for me, it's about the deal I make with the people who subscribe to my channel in the chat. I watch this garbage so you don't have to. I'm going to watch Doctor Who so you don't have to. I'm going to watch The Acolyte so you don't have to. Now, I'm not watching Hot D Season 2 so you don't have to. I'm watching it because you want my opinion on it. But when we watch the garbage, we watch it to critique it, to point out why it's bad. And that is what the stans hate. That's what the shills hate, the fake fans. They hate it when we comment on it and we give level-headed observations. We point out all the things that are wrong that they blindly don't want to see because that breaks their reality. Oh no, we can't have comfort. We can't make you think about us. Why did Palpatine suddenly return? You can't think about that. We can't think about all the Disney Star Wars shit. Can't think about everything that's wrong with Doctor Who. That doesn't make sense. No, don't do that. Don't do that. No, we're going to do it. We're going to point it out. And we're also going to point out that nobody watches this shit. Nobody watched Velma. You guys are right.
Nope.
Me, Disparu, and maybe 2 or 3 other people reviewed it. And since Disparu is a much bigger channel, he can go at it one episode at a time. Me, I had to get it out in one go. Otherwise, there's no way I maintain any sort of algorithmic relevancy with it. And hey, it's working for me. Reviewing it as a batch, working for me today. So go check it out, everybody. Share your thoughts, hit that like button. And now let's get on to the regular part of the show. Okay, so here is what we're primarily here to discuss today. Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade. I may have used the wrong word. It's not a controversy. I wouldn't say it's a controversy going on because it's an issue. It's an issue because, very simply put, and I can bring it up right here and show you, literally a week before it was released. Let me zoom in so you can see more of Eve's ass, but also the date. A week before this dropped, the articles read, Stellar Blade will be uncensored for all regions.
Hell yeah.
And when I was doing my Illudian Chronicles take on their censorship issue, or maybe more their localization crap issue, at the end of that video, I said, well, I'm looking forward in several days to playing Stellar Blade uncensored. Well, that didn't age well for me.
It's not your fault.
It's not my fault. And that's why I didn't that's why I didn't edit it out and repost it, because it's not my fault. But here we are a week later, and excuse me. Leading up to it, we had the hard R thing, which dropped at the beginning of the week. For those who don't know, this is made by a South Korean company. And as you get further into the game, which I have not gotten that far, I'm only a couple hours in of actual story play, and another 2 hours of grinding to beef up Eve, which she doesn't need much beefing up because she's beautiful. We'll get to that in a second too. There's a store where you can buy stuff, and it's Roxy. Her name is Roxy, has an R over it, and at one point it said hard R.
Yep.
Jed, you hang out at Geeks and Gamers, you hear the hard R all the time over there. So, you think I was
retard, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of retards going around.
Anyway, but you understand what a gamer word is, and Static, you understand what a gamer word is too. And when we all saw this, when it came out, we thought, oh, isn't that funny? But we only heard about it because a couple days before, the game's journalists got their chance to review bomb this game and try and gaslight it. And that's where we start this story with the censorship issue. This was the first bit of censorship because what happened was the game's journals played victim card. They whined, they complained, they screamed, they cried about how, oh my God, this is my racism. It's my bigotry. How can you have a hard R? Black people are going to feel so hurt. Mind you, every single black person I've heard talk about this doesn't give two shits that was.
You know, I made a video on this and I had at least 10 comments of people saying, I didn't know what a hard R was. Or they thought it was a movie rating.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah, a lot of people think hard R in that sense.
It really is a gamer thing then, isn't it? It's really
because
really
hard R can be differentiating between a movie that's like barely an R-rated movie and a one that is like, oh my God, this should be NC-17. Like I've heard it in that context as well. Like, I don't know, Deadpool is a hard R film. Like that definitely are. So there are different contexts for it. And my big question when it came out originally, because you said this was a South Korean film, correct?
Yeah.
Or game. Was it designed to be in English or was it originally designed to be in Korean?
I would assume this was designed for a worldwide release. They've been working. I mean, I think it.
That too, but I mean, the developers, as being Korean, maybe the original design of that graffiti in Korean, it doesn't have the same connotation, so it's obviously not intentional.
I heard it was like a random thing that was just put up there, and it was done without it. But the funny thing is, Sony. And obviously, guys, I'm a Sony. Sony is my console of choice. I choose it because to me, they're the lesser of two evils when it comes to them and Microsoft. I'm just not a fan of Microsoft. and I would say literally 25 years, it's been my media center for.
Well, they got the better exclusives. That's just fact.
So
PlayStation.
It's also I watch movies on it. I watch a lot. I watch everything on this. I do. So it's very simple. So I'm very happy with that. But it won't. But doesn't mean I'm not going to criticize them that they're censorship crazy over at Sony. And I can say that talking about the mothership. This isn't just Sony America. It's Japan too. There's something wrong at Sony when they try to censor boobs everywhere. Yet will allow Abby Smash. You all know what I'm talking about there.
Yep.
And what happens?
I hadn't seen that uncensored until just recently, and holy fuck.
Yeah, you don't. That is where the term "bleach for the eyes" really want that.
Yeah.
Why do you think they get? Why do you think everybody memes the FNT crew on that all the goddamn time? Because it's so horrific.
Yeah,
to think about it. But it started with the hard R, and then Sony and their censorship put crime R next to it, not knowing that crimer is actually an even worse thing when everybody looked it up.
No one knew that. No one
knew
fucking knew that.
Oh yeah,
no one had
any idea. But it's
now we do. And so this is why, and this was the first part of the discussion earlier in the week. Never bend the knee to these social justice retards. There's my hard R for the show. Social justice retards. Because one, you're never going to please them. And two, whenever you do it, it only makes it worse. Because you're likely in your zeal and lust to please them, you're going to do something that is legitimately maybe offensive. I don't know. I mean, now Crimer, I don't know if it is offensive. It's just really funny that's what they landed on.
It's hilarious. I doubt anyone's actually ever used it.
I've never heard of it either. Yeah. For those who are unaware, Crimer is basically referring to people who commit habitual crimes and are going to go to jail. And it just so happens that, let's be honest, the statistics in these United States of America lean towards people of melanin color. And if Dre was here, he would be our shield for that, being crimers.
Yeah.
It is specifically a racial slur.
One of the definitions is pertaining to the black individuals.
Yeah. So I wish Dre was here. We're going to have to ask him next week if he knew the word crimer. I'm going to have to ask him when he comes back next week. So that's funny. But then there was a quiet period because we were all settling, okay, we're going to make fun of this. The game still looks like it's going to be good. We're getting ready for it. But then there came the reports, and we weren't sure until literally Friday when the game dropped that they were censoring some of Eve's skins. There are over 30 skins that you can put on Eve, different outfits. Some of them massively revealing, some of them not so much, some of them partially, yet they had chosen to censor a little cleavage here, a little ass there, a little hip there, when there are bikini skins that everything is out there. And got to remember, Eve is a jiggling masterpiece, and I can confirm this. And I haven't even got to the point where I can change her skins. I'm still in the early intro part of the game. She is beautifully designed.
And unlike what the freaks on Twitter are trying to convince us, she's based on a real woman. This isn't some unattainable physique.
That's the other half of this. Put a pin in that. I want to come back to that when we get to the whole gaslighting aspect of this. So Eve is a beautiful model based on a real woman. It is glorious to look at, but it's not the reason we're playing this game. We're playing this game for the action, the entertainment, the gameplay, which is slowly getting better. I did do a few upgrades last night. Static double dodge makes it a lot smoother. You get the hang of some of these things. I'm getting the hang of the whole warp behind dodge thing when they do the unblockable attack. Once you get the hang of the stuff, it is pretty smooth, and you weave in all the special attacks. The gameplay is getting better as I upgrade. So that is a thing that we were wondering on Friday. It's a thing. So, but we're here to play this game. But it's nice to have something fun and beautiful to appreciate while we're playing it. But here's the thing. They censored her outfits. It is true. Screen caps are up, before and afters, because many people, I myself didn't buy it to do it, but many people bought a physical copy so that they could ignore the day one patches and play it as it was originally intended without any of the censorship. So if you buy a physical copy and do not update it, and you could even play it and unupdate it and do it however you want. You can get the original hard R version. It's all in there, uncensored. But they changed it. And I wonder, does Niche Gamer have the picture here? I forget and look. Oh, they don't have, no, they don't have, they usually put pictures here. Basically, they changed the swimsuits in that. And here's where I want to go with this now. And I want to unequivocally state, censorship is bad. It should not happen, especially when you advertised it would be uncensored. That is one of the core things of this discussion for the past several days. We were lied to. That's the core issue. Do not tell us one thing and tell us another. And it's a very big fact that as of this morning, Sony is issuing refunds to people who claim they were got misinformation, false advertising. They are issuing refunds on the digital store, which is a big thing. Normally, you can't get a refund from the PlayStation Store on a game. It's locked in. They say it in the when you buy. When you buy this, there's a no refund policy. They're refunding this because why? We're talking about it. We're talking about it. We're making it an issue, and it's a black eye. They shouldn't have done it. They shouldn't have changed it. But then here's the thing. And I want to link this to sort of what we've been going over concerning Fallout. We're in a moment here, and this is where I want you guys to weigh in. I'm done monologuing after this. Hypersensitivity is a thing on our side of the argument. Whether it's love for something or hate for something, we see these things and we get bent out of shape very quickly because we've been beaten down so long with all these things we love. Changed, ruined, destroyed, butchered. And now to have this be given to us promised in one way and suddenly have it not be the way, some people are rightfully upset. But what I want to pose to you guys is, has the discussion of don't get the upload, don't get the patch, you can't like it this, or you can't like it because of this reason. Are we overcorrecting, over pendulum grasping, swinging? Are we going too far in saying you have to play it the original way? Don't play it. Don't let them destroy you, or maybe destroy. Don't let them sucker you by playing their updated version. You have to wait now, either for the modded version on PC in probably a year or so, or only play like this. You're only helping them.
If those people are saying wait for the modded version, they're still doing it wrong.
Yeah, well, then that's why I want you to weigh in on this. My point of thing is that there can be virtue signaling on our side too, and unnecessary virtue signaling, and that's what I want to say is we shouldn't be letting because this was the plan of the game journals and the leftists who wanted to gaslight us with this. They want us fighting with each other over how we should play this game. And they want you to refund the game because you might be angry about this little bit of censorship. And my final thought on this before I turn it over to the guys here to let them weigh in. So far, my time in it, will the censorship break the game for me? No. It's a change in outfits. It's a change in the stupid graffiti. The story seems to be remaining intact. The gameplay is engaging and fun. I've died several times already. I mean, you guys know how much I hate to die in a game. I hate it because the goddess keeps count. So it is an issue when it comes. If it's an issue that breaks a game for me, no. But if people are getting refunds because they changed the outfits, that's their choice. But my argument is you're letting the games journals wins who started this controversy in the first place to try and tank this game.
I don't know if it's letting the journos win.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just using them as the front man of this. Go ahead and expand on that, Static.
So like we briefly spoke about this last night when I found out that I was going to come on today. I didn't want to talk too much about it, but
that's fine.
As far as the journalists go, I think we need to stop worrying about them. They're not the enemy. They're nothing. They are, they need the attention. They need the anti-attention to feel relevant. Because otherwise they're just an echo chamber and no one's paying attention to them outside of that. For me, I haven't. Are any of the boycotters going after the other anti-censorship people? Like, I haven't seen anything like that, like people fighting over that.
All I see from the people who are wanting, when you say boycotters, you mean the people that are getting refunds or the people that are screaming, "Don't buy the
refund."
Game in the first place?
I would lump in the refunders and the anti-updates people together.
Okay. All I see them doing is a part of them. I don't want to label an entire group here because I haven't seen every little bit of social media information. What I've seen is the anti-updaters and the refunders, or especially anti-updaters, are saying you have to. I feel as though they're saying if you play the game with its censored version, you're part of the problem. That's the kind of feeling I get.
Capitulating.
Yeah. And my response to that is you're responding the way that, and to counter what you said, Static, I agree the games journals are worthless. They are not important, but they are the mouthpiece for the puppeteers is what they are. And you're letting the people pulling the strings to try and hurt Western gaming by arguing for playing it in its uncensored version and telling us who are going to play it, because there are benefits to the patches. They improved some gameplay mechanics that people complained about in the demo. They fixed some stuff. Yeah, so.
That would be a great way to make censor changes and make the game better. Like, you know,
and that's the problem. It's Trojan horse. It isn't. I'm not. Yeah, listen. I'm not so fanboyish. I'm saying it's not a Trojan horse.
Yeah, no,
it is a Trojan horse.
I will not accuse you of being a fanboy.
Yeah.
I watched your stream yesterday. I was there. And
Yes,
listen to your explanation and everything. My thing, and so your thing is like we're talking about it, we're bringing attention to it.
Yes,
and you know, and it's kind of like now I don't want to compare. I'm not saying this is a 1-to-1, but I'm going to use this as an analogy, as in Starfield.
Okay.
So now we all know that video that Vask did was out of context.
Might get a little heat on that one. Got a little heat.
It wasn't it wasn't linear. It wasn't a linear video, right?
Yeah, he was like 40 hours in to playing that game at that point.
And he still had that freak out and then kept playing it. And it's like,
but that was the last time he played it. That stream was it. He was
yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. But he still didn't stop the stream at that point or whatever. For me, these are super minute changes, right? Like for me, adding the little strip across her boobs in the one suit, whatever. Like I was actually more bothered about her not being completely covered in blood at the end of.
And see, that doesn't bother me at all.
So
Because when you mentioned that yesterday, it's like she should be covered in blood. I'm like, oh, really?
Because that to me that actually like removes like a cool element about it. Like I like when my dude is covered in blood in Elden Ring or whatever. Like I'm like, fuck yeah, I did some shit, or that was, you know, like so to me that sucks. I don't play video games for hot chicks. I play video games because they look cool. I don't need hot chicks in my video games, but I also don't want Aloys in my video games. I don't want Mary Jane in my video games.
Yeah.
My question is though, if we're just talking about it, like there's talking the talk and then walking the walk. So like how are you actually helping like bring about change just by talking?
And you bring that up. I mean, Jed, have you seen the Grums petition that he put out?
Yes, and I'd love to talk about that too.
Yeah, but
I've seen a screenshot of it. Okay. I haven't gone to.
I've got it if you want it.
Yeah, I mean, it apparently was taken down on Twitter. I signed it because Dermy tweeted it out right away. I'm like, oh, let's see what this. Oh yeah, I'll sign this because I agree. And that's the thing. There and Static to point. There's and I see the chat is bringing it up too. There's constructive conversation and there's destructive conversation. Telling people how to do it, how to handle the game. That's where you go away. And that's why I compared this to the Fallout discussion. Everything surrounding Fallout for the past 2.5, 3 weeks has not been constructive discussion. It's been destructive because people are getting massively butthurt for one reason or another and leaving no room in the middle ground. And I feel as though these first 72 hours of Stellar Blade can go to that deconstructive conversation way, that destructive conversation, because I feel, and Static was there, he can say that I'm playing this game, one, because I want to play, but two, let's play the game. I stream it so that everybody can see what it looks like, see what I'm doing. I'm not just posting screen caps. I'm giving you a video record of my experience with it so that we can have a discussion. Is this as bad as it is? Was this as bad as it was? Did it break the game? And I will say whether or not I feel as though it broke the game. And then you can make your decision after watching me play it on how you feel about it. I mean, Jed, how many times have we seen that kind of discussion meant to be the proper way to do it instead of let's all just yell at each other?
So, I mean, it happens all the time. And that's one reason I'm not a fan of boycotts in really any sense, unless it's a very, very extreme situation, like a cutie situation. That one, I'm okay supporting a boycott for that one. But in a situation like this, these are all superficial changes, and it's up to personal preference to a certain extent when it comes to it. But if people go too far and just scream incessantly, I do agree with you to a certain extent. This does feed into the games journalists and the studio's narrative where it's like, oh, the people who don't like this, they're just basement dwelling man babies. And they can build that argument because of the irrationality of their opposition. So we always need to stay rational, and making a petition, having nuanced debates is a great way to counteract that. Measures we're calm. We're just like, yeah, censorship is bad. And I really like the example Static brought up, because I think Starfield is an example where our side of the internet went way too far. I personally enjoyed Starfield. Like, it's not a great game.
You can't have that opinion.
And I didn't experience the same things as I didn't play the same storyline as him, so I can't speak to that. But one of my favorite parts of the game was Sam Coe and his daughter's character. That was a good dad story. There was nothing about him being a bad dad. There was nothing about the girl being like, why couldn't I be with my mom? Because he was a single dad. And it was a great heartfelt story with great acting between those two characters and the playable character, and a tragic ending based on your choices. Like, there was some great storytelling that I enjoyed in Starfield. And people who say it's boring, I totally get that. It is up to personal preference. But we went so foaming at the mouth, Starfield is the enemy, boycott it. Oh, you play it, you're gay, you're a bad person. And I hate that in any sense. Like, we can laugh about someone who watched Rings of Power and enjoyed it. We've had people in our chats before who have enjoyed Rings of Power. We laugh about it, tease it a little bit, but we don't attack that person and call them names.
I only attack Disney Star Wars stands. That's all.
Yeah. But there is a middle ground when it comes to, you've got to still call out this stuff, whether or not it's as extreme as something like Disney Star Wars or Cuties or something like that, or when it's kind of superficial when it comes to a situation like this in Stellar Blade. You definitely need to call it out, but you have to find a balance between rational discussion and passion. We can get too far into passion that we alienate anyone who might be sympathetic to what we're having to say.
Okay.
And our passion is our strength most of the time, but that's the fear is the passion will cause too much of overcorrection. Go ahead, Seth.
Well, so I was going to ask, is it possible to do a boycott without passion?
No.
No,
it isn't because well, it depends on who's starting the boycott. Is it being started for nefarious reasons because you just hate something, or are you genuinely upset about something? I mean, I guess that's the two ways. Passion would be if you're genuinely upset. No passion if you are just a malcontent who hates something and wants it to fail. And when it comes to something like this, I feel as though, like Jed said, and like I alluded to, if you refund the game, that is your choice. But don't say that we're part of the problem because we want to keep playing it the way we are, because you're feeding into what the other side wants. They want this game to fail, just like they wanted Hogwarts Legacy to fail a year ago. They want to fail because it is returning to what games used to be, just fun. So they're going to do everything they can to create controversy. And now I will use that word on purpose. They do whatever they can to create a dissension in the ranks and try and have it tank so that you can oh, look, and you guys brought this up and now we'll go to it. This is just a game for basement dwelling incels who want to fap to big digital boobs. Now, here's the thing. Yes, will fappening happen to Eve? Oh, God, goddamn teed, especially when it goes to PC and they mod her to be nude in the game. That's going to happen. But as Jed pointed out, there is a real life model who was the body for Eve in this, body for all the women in this game. Even poor rest in peace Taki, who was alive for all of 3 seconds in the beginning of the game. These are based on real women with real bodies. I can go look at their real bodies and have the same exact enjoyment as looking at Eve. There's no difference. This isn't about the body, but they want to make it look like that we're all porn obsessed, porn addicted weirdos who need to jerk off to these digital creations because we don't know what real one feels like.
It's such a
textbook
disingenuous
straw
fucking
man
conversation because these are the same people that want to talk to your kids about chopping their dicks off.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's a textbook classic straw man argument. The best way that they can defeat a legitimate argument is pretend that the opposition is worried about something that is completely not true. They do this all the time with us. And when we criticize Disney Star Wars, oh, you're just sexist. That's not what we're saying. We don't like it for these legitimate reasons. No. You're just sexist. It's just a straw man again when it comes to this. Oh, you're just incels. You just never seen a woman before. Like I saw a post earlier today when I saw the screenshot of the petition. It's like, oh, I guess everyone who's seen this has never had a woman before.
I saw that one too. I saw
a lot of these people are married.
Yeah.
A lot of these are women. I know so many women. There's not a single woman that I know in my personal life who isn't on our side when it comes to this because, women are attractive. People want to see attractive women, and it's okay.
Sung Jae-ung, who is the model for Eve, is in her 30s and has worked to maintain her perfect body. She should be applauded.
She's in her 30s?
She's in her 30s. Yes, she's in her early 30s. She's like 32, 33. I mean, this is somebody who is beautiful, and that's the other part of this. These people who are behind the games journos, these people who are infiltrating through Sweet Baby Inc. and all the types of companies that get involved with games development here in the West, they hate beauty. They want you to think beauty is a crime and it should be gotten rid of, which is why. And when you look at the people who complain about Stellar Blade, they are the same exact people who will go and look at Ma'am Solo, Kay Vest coming out for Outlaws and say, this is a beautiful woman. How can you say she's not beautiful? Same exact people who are complaining about Eve and her beauty. Same exact people. There's something wrong, and they don't want us to have fun. They want us to be as miserable as they are. They want us to think everything they do. And that's where it comes all the way back to this is always a connection to leftist Marxist ideology. You must think one way. You must do something in that single way. There cannot be no freedom of thought. And to see something like this is the ultimate freedom. Jiggling. These things are free. They're moving about unconstrained and being appreciated. And nobody in their right mind has a problem with this. And as you guys said, this is not a game for children. It has
it's not being marketed
rating.
to kids.
No.
It's specifically blocked. Kids cannot buy this game. But of course, the stuff that these people, just like Static said earlier, they're advocating for child mutilation. They're totally fine with kids' content being entirely inappropriate for them. But we're segregating this content, and they're saying that we have a problem with kids.
That's why
bizarre.
none of this makes any sense.
Yep.
The covering up, the hard R. I'm willing to put that one aside, but it's fucking stupid. The hard R,
stupid. It's wrong.
The hard R is stupid. But the removal of the blood all over her after a boss kill and the clothing cover up is completely pointless in a rated M game. It serves no purpose except to maybe cause a controversy like this.
And that's the thing. They want to try and because let's be honest, we're winning. We're winning this culture war. The Sweet Baby Inc. controversy surrounding all this stuff. Look at what happened. I mean, Jed, you saw that game that came out with based on the the African thing. Did you see that?
I did.
And how it tanked because of Cabrutus and all the attention that he's helped bring to focusing on every company that is involved with Sweet Baby Inc. Not to mention also, it sounds like it was crap too. Doesn't sound like it was a very good game either. But
yeah, I saw some people that were reviewing it that were looking forward to that game, and they were like, eh.
Yeah. So it would have tanked anyway from all apparent reasons. But the point is, we're winning this because attention has been brought in. That is one of my main points of this. We need to have civil discussions like we're having here today, where we're not ranting and raving. We're not going off crazy, screaming our heads off about this. We're talking about that. Yes, censorship is bad, but look at the bigger picture. Play the game, review it in its entirety as it exists now, and then present the argument. As bad and wrong as censorship is, did it ruin the game? If it didn't, you say that, but then acknowledge it shouldn't have happened in the first place. And that's where Grum's, that's where his petition on change.org comes in mind. I shot it. You put it in here, right?
So that's his tweet, and then the second one is the petition itself.
Yeah, let me get it up here. I will copy and I'll bring it up and then I'll put it in the chat so people can go to it if they haven't gone to. So let me get rid of this. And that's the thing. It's important to have these conversations and have them clearly like this, not raging, not canceling, not boycotting, because that plays into their argument. That plays into how they want to portray us, that we're a bunch of gooners.
I think I don't have a problem with people boycotting this because money talks.
Well, personally, like if you personally want to boycott it, I'm with that all the way.
I don't
demanding
I don't think you should go after people who aren't who are still buying it, and that you shouldn't go after what I'm going to call the anti-censorship people who are still buying it. I hope you guys could understand why they might think that looks kind of hypocritical.
Yeah.
No. Because you're still supporting Sony. Sony gets 30% of this cut.
Yeah. No.
What do you?
That is why you need to have a clear statement of how you feel about this, but then say, I know if you lay it out like I did, that I play Sony, I support Sony, but I understand they're wrong. And that is why if you make declaration statements, you don't run into hypocrisy then. And you don't get caught in it. And you have a moment like this where here is something legitimate. And I want to bring around, I mentioned earlier, Eludian Chronicles. I always pronounce it wrong. I haven't played it yet. I don't know how to pronounce it. It had a horrible localization release because it was lazy. It wasn't exactly woke. It was just lazy and disrespectful and crap. And within 24 hours, a lot of us made videos. We talked about it.
I saw this.
And I forget the production company's name. They're patching it. They're starting to correct it. They're doing it. And I mean, Grums was involved in this too. He made posts about this too. That is, for example, of why that and this, having an intelligent conversation, not raging, not screaming boycott, that is, you can affect change. Calm, collective change that has things. That's why. Why do you think Sony, as I said earlier, is allowing digital refunds? Because they know they got caught. They know this is a bad look.
Well,
they realize that they. I don't think. Oh, wait, remember that. I don't think they realize they made a mistake. They're caught, and they're trying to fix it as best they can while saving face. But our continued collective normal response might affect change down the road and show them, listen to us. You're losing money if you don't listen to us. Don't listen to the games journos who are mouthpieces for the collective Marxist left. Go ahead, Seth.
So, okay, there's a few more things. So, one, did you see the Tomb Raider stuff?
Mm-hmm.
The Tomb Raider,
they corrected that this morning.
Posters.
They fixed it.
Yep, and now the posters are going back. What do you guys think of Grums' idea of canceling your PlayStation Now accounts?
I don't even have a PlayStation Now account.
No, I don't have one either.
Or I think whatever so PlayStation has 2 accounts.
Oh, Plus.
Right?
Oh, you mean PlayStation Plus?
Yeah, the PlayStation
Oh,
Plus.
I hate PlayStation. I am an avid hater. I hate PlayStation Plus. I think it is a ripoff. You should not have to pay to get online access to play cross-platform shit. You shouldn't have to do that. It's bullshit. I've always hated that. I think it's a scam. I think they're not right for doing it.
I think Grums is absolutely right for saying we want to go after Sony directly, and that
there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think him telling people to not boycott is a good look. Because it's just the other side of the coin as the people wanting everyone to boycott.
I think it's how you go about it, like we've been saying. Go about it in a way, state your case, and then say why you're doing it. Don't just say I'm boycotting because I'm angry. And it was something.
No, you should be boycotting on principle, not emotionally.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this earlier before in the green room before we got started today. How social media, because of the way it exists and it's not going away, people will not take a moment to think something through. And as soon as they have that emotional outburst, they're going to jump on Twitter and they're going to just say it, not realizing maybe I should have taken a moment to construct my thoughts better, not just have the emotional outburst. And that is a problem. Social media has been a detriment to clear conversation, because what happens is somebody will post something, immediate emotional reaction, and then somebody's going to reply with an immediate emotional reaction, and it's just a death spiral of emo drama then, without having a panel discussion like we're trying to do now. Because obviously, Static and I are slightly off in how we both view this, but we're having a normal discussion about this, and we're seeing this, how we all feel about it, and there's no animosity, because
no reason to.
We're having a calm adult conversation about this, as opposed to screaming at each other on X Twitter. The only person that you need to scream on Twitter is Dermy. That's the only person you have to scream at.
Has he been scream at Dermy?
Scream
I thought you were saying he was screaming. I was like,
no. It's okay to yell at Dermy. No. I'm just saying in general, yell at Dermy all you want. He deserves everything he gets.
I thought I missed something exciting. If Dermy's screaming, something funny probably happened.
Yeah. Well, listen, listen. It's not like what happened on Friday, where small tangent here on Friday. He was getting super chats to do some squats, and he rearranged his office so that he's got very little room in his recording studio there, his room there. And he kept saying, I don't have any room. And he kept trying to showing us. And I didn't mean it to happen this way. I just said, because he was complaining and whining. So I just said, Dermy, where's the tiny chair? Because I just wanted him to sit in the tiny chair. That's all I wanted. And he goes and sits in the tiny chair. But then some of the others wanted him to put the tiny chair in his big chair and make room to do the squats. So after they bullied him into doing it, he did it. And then he knocked his desk chair into his background shelves where he's got a bunch of gunpla up there. And he knocked the gunpla on the floor. And a bunch of pieces were missing in his, what he says he has shag carpeting down there. Why he has shag carpeting, I don't know. But
The house is old.
yeah. And so he lost the pieces, and oh boy, he got angry. He got so angry. And it was just,
and he couldn't recover. He couldn't recover.
So that's what we're talking about in terms of, that's where people get angry. And we tried to calm him down, and it took a while. But you could calm down in a face-to-face conversation as opposed to yelling at each other on Twitter. But no, that was the last time Dermy had a meltdown. But it was live on camera. It wasn't on Twitter.
Man,
he's our Dermy though, and we love his retarded ass. Anyway, but so in the end, this whole thing about Stellar Blade, I think this has potential to be Game of the Year. Despite the censorship issues, I'll be interested to see what the sales numbers are going to be in a month. If people's boycotts about this have mattered, and I want to have real discussions when everybody's beating. I mean, some people I think have probably already beaten the game because they powered through it in 3 days. Me, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to stream it. I'm not going to rush through it. I want to have fun.
You don't think this gets the Hogwarts Legacy treatment?
Oh, well, when I say Game of the Year, I mean from people.
Okay.
From people. Yeah. No, it will likely be left. Well, I don't know how they can leave it out. It's such I guess nothing. Hogwarts Legacy. You're right.
How could you leave out the #1 selling game of the year?
You're right.
Oh yeah. And do not trust the Game Awards. They're going to leave it out because of this controversy. I guarantee it.
Well, you got to think of it too. They want to complain about this, but they loved Baldur's Gate 3, where you could fuck anything in that game, and they praised it for being able to fuck it.
There are some new things that I hadn't seen coming out of this Stellar Blade stuff from new Baldur's Gate scenes that I hadn't seen. I didn't know demon sex was a thing either. Like,
yeah, I think I saw a screen cap today when I was.
It was like demon and lizard.
I think I saw a demon and a mind flayer.
There's no restraints on you. You can screw pretty much anything.
Yeah, so
they're going to leave out any game that is actually popular with the fans. I bet Helldivers will be left out because of the controversy with it.
Oh, it'll definitely be left out.
Helldivers should not be left out. But also, just to, I don't think Hogwarts should have been Game of the Year, anyways.
No, it should have been in the conversation because it was high selling, but yeah, it didn't deserve to win.
Hogwarts Legacy had 0 replay value. Once you did everything in there,
I didn't even finish it. I thought it was boring,
and it was too easy. It was way too easy.
It was.
Yeah, and because we revealed later on that there was no real difficulty level. It was all the same.
Yeah, that was disappointing because at a certain point you could deck whole.
I don't think Pal World is gonna in the conversation.
It's kind of died off already. Helldivers is still very relevant. But
you know what?
World isn't.
They've been putting out content. It's also still in the beta phase, right?
Yeah,
like it's
early access.
So maybe if there's some sort of early access award or something.
Yeah, if something's in early access, it should not be submitted for game of anything. That shouldn't be right. But so final thoughts. In terms of Stellar Blade, my position is censorship bad, but let's keep our eye on the prize by basically responding in certain ways. You're playing into the way they wanted you to play into this. They're playing into it. Don't give them the win because your emotions have a grip on you now. Take a minute and do it. I mean, perfect example, Jed brought it up, Starfield. A lot of people actually do like Starfield. The only reason I didn't get it for 2 reasons. One, there's no way the old girl here was going to handle it. She would not have been able to handle it. And two, it was had so much emotional charge to it at the time. I didn't want to get involved. I just simply did not want to get involved in the conversation.
I didn't either. I rarely talk about it publicly. Yeah. I didn't stream it. It was just so much drama that I stayed out of it.
If they ever make it cross-platform and put it on the PlayStation 5 at a very discounted price, I might check it out. Or if a miracle happens and I have thousands of dollars to get a new computer, then I might check it out. But right now, I'm happy in its place. I'm happy that Jed tells me there is a good game in there somewhere. And maybe someday I will get into it and go crazy building things like a ship. So we'll see what happens. All right. So, Jed, any final thoughts on this?
Nope, just kind of what we said before is, of course, anti-censorship is a good thing, but you have to have some maturity, some common sense, and rational arguments to be not straw man to the degree that games journalists love to do. Okay, and I just love IGN is freaking out right now because they gave Stellar Blade a 7, and as most people who know IGN realize, 7 means bad for them. That's like, if they're given a 7, they can't do anything lower than that for some reason, and they're freaking out. It's like, but it says good right there. We think it's good. It's like you have. We know
your game. We know your game.
They're so mad at people.
No one gives a shit what IGN says about the ratings.
Yeah, I use IGN as a source because sometimes they do get to a story first, and it's better organized than some other websites, and it's clean on the screen. That I use them for a source because we have to use shill sources. We have to.
But their game review scores,
they're garbage.
Fuck them. And Yellow Flash pointed out their hypocrisy just a few weeks ago when they said that, what was it? Resident Evil 4 is the Resident Evil that we don't need a remake of because of racisms or whatever. And yet Yellow Flash went and pulled up their score and they gave it like a 9.5.
Ha! They're hypocrites. They're hypocrites. And that least the whole thing is a lot of these people forget the shit that they do previously. They don't even pay attention to their hypocrisy. All right, Static, final thoughts on this?
You don't need to be attacking people. You don't need to be attacking people over what they decide to do. You do you, and that's really what this matters. For me, I hate censorship. I don't have a PlayStation 5, but Sony's been moving a lot of things to PC, and they've been making a lot of moves in that. For me, I won't be buying it unless things get turned around.
And that's your choice.
And it's fair.
Yeah. And you can live vicariously through me. So
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. And
I've watched many Stellar Blade streams.
Yeah, and I'm behind everybody else. I mean, Az is he might even play. No, he's playing Sunday Fun Day right now. But Az is like 4 parts in.
I'm surprised he sleeps.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you put on a gaming stream, you can make several $100s doing it. I would do it too. Problem is, my other channel isn't even monetized. Go sub to Renaissance Third Arcade, everybody. Help it grow. Let me make money over there now too. Anyway, all right. So Stellar Blade, watch my live streams. I'll probably get one later tonight after Get Ranked. So I'll probably do one later tonight because I want to play, and I'm stronger than I was yesterday. My muscle memory is starting to build. I think I'm getting better. We'll see. Anyway, all right. Second topic. We mentioned Disney during all this. We mentioned Disney and how they want to indoctrinate your children. How they're perfectly happy to complain and cry about all these things, people involved in that, but they will ignore the fact that people will ignore that Disney does horrible shit. I stumbled upon this first article earlier in the week and debated how I was going to tackle doing, and I figured it'll be better for a panel. And then the second part we're going to go to is came out, and I thought, oh, now we have a perfect pairing. So Disney, where they're getting the $60 billion to put into redoing Disneyland, not World. They're sinking a lot of money into Anaheim to redo Disneyland. And they're behind a bunch of people and whatever. They're talking about wholesome stuff here. Oh, here comes. They started right here. It says, on a visit to Anaheim in April. Let me zoom in on this so you guys can see it too. On a visit to Anaheim in April, a crowd of park goers wearing Loki horns and Ratatouille chef hats cheered as a robotic Spider-Man swung through the air and slid upside down to the ground at Disney California Avengers Campus. That's a mouthful. Avengers Campus. Across the way at Disneyland, the wait times for a sleek battle ride, Rise of the Resistance. Nobody's lining up to go to Rise of the Resistance. Don't lie.
And even with what they're saying, 90 minutes is not that long for Disney ride. When I went to Disney World, the one and only time I've been, and I have no intentions of going back, the Tron ride was over 500 minutes. So 90 minutes is nothing at Disney.
Yeah.
110 was the shortest we saw the day I was there.
Jeez. I remember back in the day when you just got in line, you got in, and it was no anyway.
Yeah. So don't brag about 90 minutes at a Disney park.
At Galaxy's Edge, which is empty. Nobody goes to either Galaxy's Edge. Undeterred fans in Jedi costumes clustered to wait beneath the looming cliffs of the fabricated Star Wars planet that nobody knows about because it's a made-up Disney fanfic. The point is this. So they're going over all this stuff and how great and wholesome it is at Disneyland. Jed, How many times have we heard in recent history where a family brings their little girl for a Disney princess experience and they don't get quite what they bargained for? We've heard that a lot lately, haven't we?
Oh yeah. Oh, there's an astronomical amount of stories just around Disney
Yeah.
all over the place. But yeah, especially with the Disney princesses, not so great.
So Hollywood Reporter is going to put out this very long field piece about how they're going to sink all this money to do all these great and wholesome family things at Disney. And then we get this unexpected evil queen. Disney World appears to allow biological men to play female characters. Let's read this here at Park Place. A family attending an expensive dinner at Disney's Wilderness Lodge at Walt Disney World Resort had a character experience they were not expecting. According to the father, they complained that after the evil queen was not what they anticipated. In 2023, the Walt Disney Company faced criticism from conservatives and some moderates when photos and videos surfaced of a biological male cast member wearing a dress while working at the fairy godmother in training at the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, Princess Boutique for little girls in the Magic Kingdom. Remember that dude with a mustache? I believe it's going to be right here. Yep, there it is right there. We're not going to play it. We all seen it. The biological male had facial hair and makeup, but there was never any clarification as to the presented gender identity. I don't know. I smell dude.
All right, I have a controversial opinion here.
Okay.
This is the one role that I'm actually okay with this because it's the ugly ass evil stepmother or whatever the what's her bucket who is jealous of a real woman and everyone thinking that.
But
she's
not this
prettier.
one. No, this is the actual picture up here. This was the dude from the thing. Though they're talking about the fairy godmother guy here.
Okay. Yeah, I was going off the.
Right,
the irony of her not being the fairest of them all, or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's why I'm okay with it.
She was just older, right? Like.
All right, so let's get right to this though. According to the father who reached out Park Place reporters, the evil queen antagonist of the first Walt Disney animated feature appeared to be played by a biological male at Artist Point in Disney's Wilderness Lodge Resort. Storybook dining at Artist Point is listed by the Walt Disney World website as a premium character dining experience with adults expecting to pay $60 per meal, according to the father. While we were waiting for the desserts to come out, we received our invitation to meet the evil queen, which we were really looking forward to. Keep in mind, we've had other meet and greets with other villains, and they are truly the best character experiences that we've ever had. So we had high hopes for the evil queen leading up. So we all walked over to the evil queen area, and while my kids and wife were interacting with the character, I was doing some video and took a few pictures from about 10 feet away. They then handed my iPhone over to the cast member to take some pics for me so I could get in the picture. It was kind of loud inside, so I couldn't really hear what the main character was saying until I got a face-to-face, typical conversation distance of a few feet, and then it hit me that the evil queen was without a doubt had a man's voice and likely a penis. So there it is. Here is let's go. Let's get this bigger.
Yeah,
new tab.
Yeah, that's a man jealous of a woman because people think the woman's prettier. Yeah, if you're gonna do it with the evil queen.
But still, I'm not okay with this because
no, absolutely not.
Now clearly that's a little girl, and that because now the guy is wisely blocking out himself and his family, very smart, but it's bigger than him.
Well, there could be a stage.
That's a dude.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, that is a dude.
Could you imagine being that little girl, and then all of a sudden you get the "Hey" voice? You know, like, come on, how fucking scary would that be? Whoa.
Yeah. Static brings a good point. These people are not even ideological; they're going this as normal people.
Yep.
And you're going here for the family-friendly experience of interacting with a classical character that should be played by a woman. So you see this, and this is degenerate. That's why I said this is Disney degeneracy.
I don't know how this doesn't look like how this is not some sort of fetish that this person who's dressed up as the evil queen has.
Yeah, okay, the guy here right here says, according to the father, he stands at a very average height, so probably 5'10". 5'10". but was towered over by this person playing the evil queen, as can be seen in the photo. He confirmed that the evil queen character was not standing on any sort of elevated platform. When the person playing the character spoke with a male-presenting voice, the father was displeased at the strange representation of a traditionally female character and asked to speak to a manager.
Oh, you're
Father,
getting kicked out.
yeah, okay, yeah. So, and Father detailed, I told my waiter that had a problem with something, and he asked what was the issue, and I simply stated, I have a problem with the evil queen being a man dressed in drag. The waiter immediately said he was going to get a manager, and he looked panicked. Uh-oh! What do I do? At first, I said I wanted to formally complain about the evil queen being a man, and that I felt it was very disrespectful by Disney because this is not the sort of thing my family values, and they didn't give us any type of notice that this sort of thing was even a possibility. After that, my wife then signaled for me to stand up and take a step from the table so that our kids didn't have to overhear the conversation. That's a good mom.
Good call, Mom.
Yeah.
That's a good mom. Don't get the kids involved. Keep it out. Because there's no way the kids are even going to know this happened. These are small children, and this sounds like a pair of parents that do not let their kids run rampant on the internet. So they probably don't even know this is happening. So that's good mom right there.
These are normal people.
Yeah,
these are normal people.
So I stood up and continued my chat with the manager, which lasted about 1 to 2 minutes, maybe felt like an hour. I stated, okay, Shock, they are a conservative family. They are a conservative Christian. So Shock's statement there is wrong. This is a conservative Christian family. I'm spending $8,000 on the trip, in addition to tens of thousands I've spent together in the past. Well, wow, dude, that's like I could buy a used car with that right now. If I could find a good one at a good price. That blows my mind. It shouldn't cost that much. I mean,
How long were they there?
I would guess probably a week. That sounds like at least 4 days minimum.
Yeah, it's got to be a week, and then they're probably staying at the Disney resort.
Yeah.
Oh man.
See, when I lived in Florida and we went there, we lived within striking distance, so it was a day trip. We could go and visit a park or any one of the parks.
Even if you live nearby, it's going to be a few $100 per person.
I'm talking 90s.
Yeah,
is what I'm talking. I'm talking about 90s.
But
90s,
it's still for a family of his size, without travel, it's still going to be like good $5,000.
Yeah, I mean, my thing. Back in the day when we had friends. Clearly, it couldn't be that because my mom was perfectly happy to take me and my friends when they came to visit me in the summer. Like easily 3 or 4 of us, take us to the water park, take us to MGM Studios, take us to Magic Kingdom on these day trips. Wasn't a problem. So clearly, it wasn't super expensive back then. Now, I mean, Jed, you with Geeks and Gamers, you have people who do the park stuff. You know firsthand how expensive this shit is now. So I completely cede to your knowledge on that. That it's massively hundreds of dollars even for a day trip if you're not staying at a hotel or anything.
It's a saving grace that it's a business expense.
Man. So $8,000 on the current trip in addition to thousands of that. And this is just not right. For the most part, the manager just listened and never once apologized for anything. At one point, the manager stated, I can assure you that she is a woman. No, yeah, because you're calling it a woman. Here we go. Pronoun bullshit. Your truth.
Politics.
Your truth. It's your truth bullshit right there. That's what that is. She went even further. It's a female manager. Okay, great. At one point, the manager said, I can assure you to women, she went even further, trying to shame me, informing me that she was so excited to get the part of the evil queen. Degeneracy. Ideology. Shouldn't be present. How in what right mind? I mean, listen. I'm sure at some point in time we've all been in a customer service position. I sort of was working in kitchens. I never had any direct confrontation with people in who were coming in to eat the food I made. But when things came back, so once in a while when something gets sent back, you still have to treat it well. You don't. Even though they'll Adam, don't piss off the people who make your food. I didn't do anything to people's food when I got angry and came back.
I love the movie Waiting.
I still made. There was no there was no cheese under from down under. There's none of that going on. I didn't drop anything. I didn't do any 5-second rules. I didn't wipe it on myself. I didn't do it. I made the food and put it out. But in a customer first position, the customer is always right. For, I would say, a century, that was kind of the adage. The customer is always right because they're paying you money. And if you want to keep them satisfied and coming back, you give them a good experience and you treat them with respect. To have Disney obviously allowing their management or even lower management, this kind of thing, to shame a customer over pronouns and misgendering. That's wrong. And it's degenerate. I politely told your manager that I know what you were doing and that I do not appreciate the fact that you were trying to be funny and disingenuous. So since the manager doubled down, I was also doubled down and asked, is the evil queen a biological male? The manager reply was, I'm sorry, sir. I cannot answer that.
That's just saying yes. If you're
So
saying that,
say yes without saying yes. God damn.
What do you mean you can't answer that? Is there some sort of rule protecting these people?
Probably.
Well, rules they want to create. That this is the society they want to create where
because
they're
forced to lie.
There are two genders. Just answer. Male or female. Is there a penis underneath that skirt? That's all you had to answer. And they're afraid because they're more afraid. Well, that's the thing. First of all, this manager sounds like they drink the Kool-Aid, but they're more afraid of these people. Yes, at these people than their customers who pay their wages. These people, if this family and other families like that don't come in there and spend $8,000 on this stuff, you don't get a paycheck, lady. None of this happens without the people who drop tens of thousands of dollars on these trips. And you spit in their face saying, I can't answer that. Fuck you. Now, obviously, this guy didn't have a rage out moment. He probably took his family, left with some dignity, and didn't make a scene. But I doubt they're ever going to go back to there now. And like Sam 8000 for $2 says, go to Universal instead, if possible. And hey, we've talked about it. Universal is going to the next year. They're going to take a larger slice of that pie with the Epic Universe. All right. Thank you, Sam 8000 for the $2.
I'm mad at Universal.
Why?
Because I have to go back.
What do you mean?
I've only been once, and it was fine.
Oh, okay.
And I had a great time, but now I have to go back because they're adding all this other shit.
No, Universal is great. I've only been to Disney once and despised it, but I have an annual pass to Universal here in Orlando, and I go all the time. It's phenomenal.
I haven't been to a theme park since the 90s. I went when I went back when Disney was. I was there when Disney was still Disney, all that stuff. I went to Universal Studios when it was still in its infancy, when it's still like Back to the Future ride and all that shit. So that's when I was last there. Now I know it's a completely different thing.
There are a few of those original rides left, like E.T. still there.
But there are the roller coasters. There's the Marvel Land. There's all that stuff there. There's the Harry Potter stuff. Completely different animal than when I was there. And power to them, because it sounds like Universal is putting on the proper entertainment experience. They're not having you, even though we know Hogwarts Legacy did it, they're not having you come into a bar for some butterbeer and having a, hi there, would you like something with your beer?
Not as far as I'm aware. The bartenders in the Harry Potter areas are the best. They're the best bartenders.
Yeah, so they do it right. They respect their customer and respect the experience. This is the ultimate disrespect. So we at that park place are fully aware that the actors of any sex often play roles of characters that Dr. occur with Walt Disney Parks Resorts. Listen, anybody that knows how plays have gone on for generations, women will play male parts. Peter Pan, every time there's a stage play of Peter Pan, Peter Pan's always a woman because of the singing and the requirements of some of the stuff there. But you could go all the way back to the time of Shakespeare when he was putting his stuff out. Back then, all the parts were played by men. Men played because women were not. It was not socially acceptable for a woman to be an actress in those times. So all the parts were played by men.
Well, that's why so many people think Will Shakespeare was gay, because
God.
he had so many romances with men pretending to be women, and so he's like a queer icon these days. People legitimately said he was advocating for trans rights back then.
No, that was just the societal norm that all roles were played by men on stage. That's just the way it was. It wasn't until hundreds of years later that women could play the roles themselves. So of course there is a tradition of genocide roles, but in those cases, no one's pretending to be a woman like this evil queen. It's so and so. It's like so and so. This famous stage actress is playing Peter Pan on the stage or playing this. It's
there are times it's absolutely acceptable, and most like small theater productions, if they have to race or gender swap a character, totally fine with it because they have limited resources.
Yeah,
like they have a limited cast pool. Broadway is a different story.
Yeah, but it's advertised, and the person playing it is not pretending. Is not a woman pretending to be a man or a man pretending to be a woman in real life. This thing is a man pretending to be a woman in real life because, as the manager's conversation manager reveals, she was so happy to be the evil queen. This is pronoun SJW leftist agenda ideology on full march here. That's what this is. This isn't about somebody, we're just doing this because we're short on resources. No, this is them bending the knee to the gender ideology that the alphabet mafia is trying to push on everybody. That's
DEI.
what this is. DEI all the way. About diversity, more inclusion, more representation. All of it. This is not simply slotting in somebody because they were available. No, this is promoting it. So this is why I call it degeneracy. Disney, they're all the way. We talk about all the time. Can Disney be saved? Can this happen? Can we do this? Disney cannot be saved because look how far down this goes. This is a restaurant in a resort, and they're pushing this bullshit, and they're happily letting it play out in front of children because that's what they want to do. They want to normalize it for children so that they
and
can
even
spread the
asking
message.
questions makes you wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
So the fact that you even have to ask questions about something so basic and simple is truly, who was it that said it earlier? Sam 800, Sam 8000. Up is down, right is wrong, war is peace.
Yeah. There's no proper exception for any of this. And this is why we talk about these things, to point it out, to shine the light on it, because they don't want us talking about this. Because when a normal family, normal people see this, they go, that ain't right. That ain't right. It's unacceptable. And we're not going to support this. And people aren't supporting this. Yeah. I mean, Disney is suffering across all boards, especially the parks. They're losing traction. They're losing foot traffic. All these resorts, different resorts, the cruise ships, massively going down. All you got to do is check out. We've talked about it when it happened. We celebrated it. The collapse of the Galactic Star Cruiser. Talking about not reading your customer base and expecting them to spend all that money for something that was a pathetic experience. Wasn't even a Star Wars experience. And now you're banking on your foundational aspects, the evil queen from Snow White. You're banking on that. That's something that should be held sacrosanct, be put on a pedestal, left alone. You're gonna warp and ruin that as well for the sake of the agenda, for the sake of the not so secret agenda. So Disney's degenerate. Let it burn. We're gonna simply keep celebrating, watching it. Watch the billions lost across all their aspects. It's in full effect. The numbers coming out, they can't hide from it. and they're going to burn down even faster. And they're especially going to burn down because they had the brilliant idea to buy 2 seasons of Doctor Who. 2 seasons of
a failing
Shooty
show
being Shooty Gatwa. Jed, we're 2 weeks away.
Yep.
From this glorious, glorious disaster. And it was bad enough. Last week, we got to talk about Shooty Gatwa and twerking and death dropping. We had Dre last week explain to us what a death drop was. I didn't know. I didn't know. And then we imagined Shooty Gatwa doing the death drop. So we went
onto a monster's head and squishing it like a berry.
No. So we got all that. And then we had the white, the white, what was it?
Mediocrity.
Mediocrity. Thank you. White mediocrity. We had white mediocrity, which was in fact a cover for Protect Trans Children when we broke it down. And then it got even better this week. I feel like anyone has a problem with someone who's not a straight white man playing this character, you're not really truly a fan of the show. And then telling people if you don't want to watch it, then don't go touch grass, Jed. What do we say to Shooty?
Well, you can't arbitrate who is and who isn't a fan of a franchise. That's the literal definition of gatekeeping. They always accuse us of what they're doing themselves. And he's thankfully stayed quiet on the matter for a year since his original casting. He's never said anything this crazy before, but this is full on the level of Jodie Whittaker statements when she first became the Doctor, where she's like, hey, it's always been about the white male gaze, and it's basically the same thing. And I'm just surprised it took him this long. We are in the press junket for the new season, so this is why we're getting more comments from him and Russell T Davies. But he has no concept of what reality is. He's so caught up in his own political bubble that he doesn't.
All ideology.
He's not listening to the criticism. He's not understanding it. He's making a political line in the sand for what is legitimate criticism to his flamboyant character, which is in no way representative of the character that we've known and loved for 60 years. And I'm very excited because by the time his second season comes out, and if he says this again, I will have touched grass in all 50 states. I've got 3 states left. And so that is going to be my comeback forever. Whenever someone tells me to touch grass, I'm just like, well, I've done it in all 50 states. Can you say that?
I mean, Static, I forget. Are you into Doctor Who? I don't remember.
I used to love Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I stopped. It wasn't Capaldi's fault. It was what's her face's fault. She was boring.
Clara or
Bill? Bill
Clara.
or Clara? Okay.
Clara.
Yeah.
Clara was boring.
Yeah.
And so stopped watching it. And it was a very natural thing. It wasn't like oh fuck this show. It was just like I quit caring.
You turned it off and you just didn't go back. It's, I've moved on. Yeah. You're perfect. Like Capaldi, I loved Capaldi. Great actor. Did the best with the material he was given.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, this whole thing has been watching. We're not talking about Dr. Jodie Whittaker. We're not talking about Dr. Jodie Whittaker. We're not talking about her. We're talking about the 60th. From then to now, it has been a complete disaster. I mean,
well, the Christmas special was the lowest viewed Christmas special ever, and since it was his introductory episode, it was the second lowest introductory episode for a new Doctor. The only one that was worse than it was the original Doctor, William Hartnell, in 1963, when no one knew what the show was.
It doesn't count.
It doesn't, obviously. So, great viewership. And there's some controversy with Russell T Davies that I wanted to tie into this real quick with talking about the old stuff.
Oh, you mean this right here?
Not that one, actually.
Okay,
but we can talk about that one while we're talking about. But yeah, he's basically saying, hey, our old doctors, they were happy. That means they're gay too.
That is this one right here. That is it.
No, I'm tying off this one, but there's another one. Since you brought it up, I decided to talk about this one.
Okay.
But yeah, he's like, the previous doctors, Matt Smith, David Tennant, Christopher Eccleston, they were all gay too because they were happy.
And my response to that was, wait, so because I find joy in something, I'm queer. Because I'm humming a tune and having a good time and I'm filled with joy about something, I am now brimming with queer energy. So that those are the rules now. Well, I might as well go get married to Dermy then.
Well, they want everyone to be in the alphabet community. They're coming up with ways to make everyone part of it. Like they're semi-bisexual. That doesn't mean you're like kind of bisexual or you have attractions but not romantic. It literally means you are half bisexual. That is the definition of semi-bisexual, which means you're straight with extra.
What is
you're straight with extra steps. They're making it so straight can be an alphabet denotion.
I don't.
They what?
They literally
they need to make this stuff as confusing as freaking possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that they just make up the rules as they go, and no one can fight back against them or whatever.
Exactly.
These people are lunatics.
Well, Russell T Davies himself. I'm sure a lot of us know about the LGB without the T movement. It's more just a Twitter group and a hashtag than anything else. But it's normal gay and bi people who are just like, hey,
regular people.
Yeah, we're not into, mutilation, children mutilation. They're trying to separate themselves from the rest of the that massive acronym nowadays. And Russell T Davies had a comment about it recently where he said, LGB without the T is literal murder or literal killing.
Everything's literal killing to these people. Everything. If you don't,
wasn't Stellar Blade going to kill people? Wasn't Roman going to die because of Stellar Blade?
I'm sure there's a comment like that somewhere about it. Everything to do with these people, somehow, if you do not line up with whatever they're saying, it's somehow violence against them and people are going to die. When they're the ones who are always preaching, here's what I'm going to do to you if I see you. Here's what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to hurt you. They're the ones who preach violence all the time. When have any of us who have ever talked about this, we mock them, we make fun of them, we roast them, we ridicule them, but have any of us ever once preached violence against them? To our knowledge?
No.
I preach ignoring the fuck out of them.
Yet how many times, on several occasions, I have been told to Minecraft myself over my commentary concerning these things, concerning pronouns and gender and this or that. I've been told to cause us damage. I've been threatened. If I ever see you, I'm going to punch you in the face because you're a coward. You wouldn't stand up to me if we were in public. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm 6'1", over 200 pounds. I'm not going to run away from you. I mean, you don't scare me. You're the coward behind the keyboard who feels so strong about it. You send me a DM on Twitter. You're not even brave enough to go after me in an open public post. You DM me because you're so brave and bold and beautiful, whatever you are. And this entire concept of defining things. You mentioned it with RTD telling us we're all gay now. With Shooty Gatwa basically telling a fan, oh, you aren't a fan. You're not allowed to be a fan if you don't like me going to have gay butt sex with dudes in the upcoming season, because that's what's going to happen, right, Jed?
Oh, it absolutely will. There's at least 2 confirmed gay romances with him. Yeah. And this just isn't what Doctor Who is about. There is only one legitimate time that I can think of any romantic storylines with the Doctor himself being Rose Tyler. That is one example in 60 years worth of show. Well,
River Song.
That one wasn't romantic. He talked about it several times. As I don't actually love her. This is a marriage of necessity. This
it was like it was like, what do they call those?
But what about
situationship or something?
What about when
he loves her, but not romantic love?
But in Husbands of River Song, they spent all that time together, though.
Yeah, no, and it's in that episode too. He talks about it where it's like, yes, I love her, but not in that way. Even as this pseudo time lady, it's still not enough. I'm still so far beyond humanity and beyond her that I can't do that. So like, it's really actual romance. It's only one time. The Doctor just isn't a sexual being. He can't be, especially New Who, when all the other Time Lords are gone for the most part. So this should be a storyline that we address in any way, shape, or form. If people want to have headcanons about Doctors being gay or whatnot, that's fine. But we don't need storylines about them being gay.
There were references of Tennant's Doctor effing some girls, effing some ladies, and we know that Matt Smith had some sex too.
Love.
Yeah, but not love. You're right. And that's a joke we were making about something the other day when we were having some fun joking around with stuff. listen, just because you get a boner doesn't mean you're in love. There's a difference between lust and love. These are mutually exclusive things. We were making fun of somebody, and that was what I said.
A few Thursdays ago on the weekend pregame, I showed everyone a video of this dude who went to 3 different sex parties, and he fell in love with people at these sex parties, and it was
Wow. Yeah. No. Just because you're
people
horny
are
doesn't
lost.
mean you're in love. Yeah.
But it seems like Shutagawa's entire era is focused on who he's attracted to, what he's going to do. Everything they talk about is gay, sex oriented. And that's just not what it's supposed to be. Yes, you can have little jokes about it, like Captain Jack flirting with him. That's a throwaway joke, and not necessarily like, oh, yeah, they went into the back of the TARDIS and, they got it on. It's not something that would happen in the show, but it's going to now. And it's just a fundamental misunderstanding of the show. This isn't Doctor Who. This isn't a sequel to Russell T Davies' original era. It's a sequel to Queer as Folk. It's Queer as Folk 2 in space.
And it's Disney Doctor Who. They are footing the bill. It airs on Disney Plus before the BBC, which allows...
That's the best evidence that Disney has strong control over. People have been denying that fact for a year now, saying, no, Disney doesn't have any involvement. They're just distributing it. They're just dictating release schedules to benefit them.
When I did my first video on this the other day, I brought up a Russell T Davies quote talking about the fact that Millie Gibson's not going anywhere. In his opening line of the quote, it says, basically says Disney is in charge. In the first line of the quote, there is no question that this is a Disney product.
Oh,
no. Let's be honest. The BBC is perfectly happy with the Disney agenda. They've
been just extreme, if not more so, for years now. But now that we're talking about the release schedule, this ties into what I was wanting to mention earlier about Russell T Davies. When the announcement of the weird release schedule came up, where it was going to come out at, I believe, 9 p.m. Eastern, and then at midnight in the UK, he was liking posts that were against that, calling it out. So people were thinking maybe he's not okay with this. Disney did dictate it, but maybe he's not okay with it. Well, he came out with the statement that is just so out of touch with his audience. So he still is very firm that this is a kid's show, which is horrendous considering the subject matter, but he's very firm about that.
Yes.
So he says, I don't understand why people aren't okay with the release schedule in the UK. Just have your kids stay up till midnight.
Listen, there's one thing on New Year's Eve, letting your kids stay up to see the New Year roll in, but just have your kids. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It's callous in a way. Where I don't care what discomfort that might provide to your family structure. Just stay up.
Yeah,
stay up. I don't care. I don't care if it's going to hurt your day, hurt your kid's day the following day, because this is an hour-long show, and as a premiere, it's probably going to be a little over an hour, is my guess. And are they doing a 2-episode drop?
I don't know for sure.
I thought I heard that. I guess I'll find out. But
real parents don't care. They're not going to let their kids stay up. They aren't going to stay up. They've got shit to do.
Yeah. I mean, not all of us have fucked up schedules where we're actually up at that hour. Some real normal people are going to bed on time because they have to make the world go round.
It's a Friday night release, yes?
Yeah, it's a Friday night release.
Okay.
Yeah, because Jeremy and I, Jeremy and I are going to do our live stream that Saturday after we do drive-in, because that felt like we decided it's better to, first of all, I need a chance to get it and watch it, and there's not enough time to do that before Ballbusters. So there's no way we can get it in before Ballbusters. So we decided we'll do it a day later and we'll live stream it. Jeremy and I will be simulcasting it on both our channels, so you can catch it here or catch it on Jeremy's channel. We will be reviewing the hell out of it. The first episode will just be us, but after that, we might have guests. It'll be open door. We'll see what happens. But we're going to rip it apart because we're doing this out of spite. There's no saving this. It's done. I talk about collecting and protecting Star Wars all the time. I talk about trying to save what's up to Star Trek. We talk about defending Lord of the Rings. We talk about defending all these things. Doctor Who is lost. They got this one. The one man the couple men, if you want to throw in Moffat on that, there are only two dudes who could legitimately lay claim to a restart, a reboot, a refresh, a retconning of the era of Jodie Whittaker and parts of Capaldi would have been Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat. But RTD is a broken, ideologically driven man now who doesn't care about destroying his legacy. Doesn't care about it. He will happily literally stup in everything gay possible in this now. So it's he has given up. He's gonna quintuple down on the Timeless Children. And Moffat would have been the only other person, would love or hate, timey-wimey or not, Moffat was the only other person who had a legitimate ability to write the ship. He's writing episodes for this. We know this. He is signing off on all of this. There is nobody left out there who can save this with legitimacy. I'm sure there's somebody out there who has creativity and intelligence to write good Doctor Who, but they're lacking legitimacy.
And legitimacy is important because even myself, I consider myself a decent writer and feel like it could do a good job with Doctor Who. But legitimacy of being from the UK is very important for this show because it's culturally defining. It's a cornerstone of British culture. And I just don't know if I could bring that to life. So it does restrict things when it's this type of show, when it's this important to an entire nation, that I would probably say no. I'd love to work on Doctor Who, but I'd probably say no. And so many other people will get caught in that too.
It's the same thing for me when people say, dude, you're such a huge Star Wars fan and you're a writer. You just said, wouldn't you like to write Star Wars? And I would say no, because I don't have the right mindset to do it. And even if I came up with something brilliant, it wouldn't be legitimate because one, it's not the original system of Lucasfilm books at the time, at one point in time too, where George was overseeing everything and giving approval. And as long as he was involved, it was legitimate. So the unfortunate thing is, even if somewhere down the road, and I still believe it's going to happen, and Disney loses Lucasfilm and someone else takes it over and they do the right thing and kick everything Disney did into the dumpster and try to restore the EU to pick up where it left off, it would have an asterisk next to it. As much as I would love it, it would, even if they got all the great writers to come back, George would no longer be involved. So it would still have an asterisk of it, and it would lack the full legitimacy that I attribute to the EU. And you're right, legitimacy matters. And you can be the biggest fan, know all this stuff, but that doesn't mean you are even the right person to do it. Now, if I was, let's just say I have some sort of status in the future and I'm known as this and that, and it's like, would you like to be involved in trying to right the ship? Would I turn it down? Probably not, because then I could at least try and be a helping hand, but it would still have an asterisk next to it. It wouldn't be the real thing, and that would be going forward. And that's why Disney Star Wars is illegitimate, because it's not George. And that's why Doctor Who in its current state feels legitimate, because it has the people who restored it 20 years ago involved. And when they are the ones who are the current characters, because Jed can attest to this, there have been many caretakers of Doctor Who over the decades. So anybody that was originally involved in that are long gone. They're the great biopic episode of the creation of the show showed all those people involved and how they held on for so long until eventually the company BBC took over and it became a different thing. And it held its legitimacy because of the institution it was built in for the BBC for all that time. But when it ended and went on hiatus for, I would say, a decade before before New Who started.
Oh, from when the TV movie came out, it'd be about 12 years.
Yeah.
From release to release.
Yeah, and then Russell T Davies took it up. Now, there was no legitimacy then, but Russell T Davies with that first season earned legitimacy by creating a fantastic new season with a new Doctor and giving it fresh life. And then when he earned that legitimacy, he became someone who could be a good caretaker, a good custodian. And then Moffat did okay, and then Chinballs revealed what happens when ideology takes over. And Russell T Davies came back in now and has proven he has no leg to stand on with his legitimacy. Problem is, though,
he lost it all.
But problem is, he is legitimacy. So we can cry all we want and say, oh, it's not real, not real. Well, when he comes in and reaffirms it, suddenly, oh shit, there it goes. There's no stopping it. But you can still go back and watch the good stuff. You just have to stop at a point and say, okay, I walk away. Doctor, I let you go. I mean, it's sad to give it up, but we've given it up. I've made my peace with it, and I'm here to be a salty nerd. I'm here to be angry. I'm here to destroy it. Starting, I guess, May 16th. I mean, what's the date on it? Is it May 12th?
It's 2 weeks. Yeah.
So May 10th. So May 11th. I kept saying 15th for some reason. That's retarded.
That 11th sounds correct.
Yeah. So on May 11th, I'm gonna be an angry nerd, and I'm here to ruin their victory lap. Is what I'm here to do. I'm here to trigger all kinds of angry gender pushing assholes, bunch of alphabet mafia. I'm here to do it, and I have Dermy for a shield, so I can do whatever I want. So it doesn't matter.
The big question here is, of course, everyone calls it Classic Who, the New Who, and I am a fan of calling the Jodie Whittaker era not Who, but because of how different it is for the with like changing over to Disney season 1, it is a full reboot in every sense of the word. No matter what anyone says, it has to have its own name. So I'm trying to decide if I want Disney Who or Queer Who for the new era.
Ooh, tribal.
New Who, not Who, Queer Who.
Tribal in both of them, because you're right. He's not even Doctor Who. He's not even the Doctor.
He's a clone of the Doctor.
He's just playing himself.
Yeah, he's a clone. His TARDIS is a clone.
Even in lore static, he's a clone of David Tennant's. Basically, he's split off from him, and David Tennant's 14th Doctor still exists. There's 2 Doctors right now, and he's 1 year old. He's not 2,000 years old anymore.
And his
reset
TARDIS,
everything.
Right.
His TARDIS is a literal copy.
Yeah, he hit David Tennant's TARDIS with a mallet, and it split in 2.
Because why?
Because
the toy maker put cartoon
reality
on the world, and there were some lingering effects of it.
Yeah.
But why did we need 2 TARDISes?
Because he needs his own TARDIS to be gay in.
Yeah, because David Tennant's was tired too. Tired and old and white and sad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for some reason, cloning a TARDIS gave it a jukebox.
I guess.
Sure.
So this thing is R.I.P. Doctor Who.
You got the gay version. Makes sense.
It's DED dead, and we're gonna have our fun with it though. And I hope everybody joins us as we tear it apart. It should be a good time. I guarantee entertainment when we do this.
Are you ready for season 2 of this new era that has 2 companions for the first time ever, according to producers?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god.
They did say that.
Yep.
It's so exciting to have 2 companions because that's never been done before.
But they even just did it with Jodie, with her ragtag batch of misfit morons.
That's what made the Clara story so hard, because she had to follow up Amy and Rory.
And they were so good.
And that was the best. The Amy and Rory storyline is the best in my opinion.
Clara started out well, and then it just
in season 7.
Yeah, Clara did start out well.
Yeah,
and the best episodes, the Peter Capaldi ones, are when Clara wasn't around. Like if you haven't watched Static, you can watch it on your own. Watch Heaven Sent. It is just Peter Capaldi. No one else is in the episode. It's fantastic.
Honestly, they should have jettisoned Clara as soon as Capaldi took over, because she worked with Matt Smith. He didn't work with him. It just, the dynamic wasn't there. Being the front man for the grouchy old doctor didn't work.
Teaching him social cues and being like his babysitter.
Yeah. And then her boyfriend arc, which didn't make sense. If he got turned into a Cyberman, how is that future version of his descendant at the end of time? That's a plot hole to this day. That sticks with me to this day. That doesn't make any sense.
She was better than Bill.
Everybody was better than Bill.
Yeah.
Everybody was better than Bill.
And Bill was still better than the Jodie companions. I will say that.
Yeah. And at least Bill's end was a powerful end.
That two-parter I loved because she gets
Yeah.
shot at the very beginning of it, and then that arc that she has after she's shot is great.
Yeah.
But I do laugh at one of her lesbian jokes because every single time she's introduced
I'm
to
a
someone, she
lesbian.
has to tell you she's a lesbian. But I did laugh at one of the jokes. She's on a lesbian date in her apartment, and the Pope walks in and starts screaming at them. I chuckle at that moment.
Yeah, see, we can find good moments. We still think Bill was a terrible character, but
Nardo was the saving grace of that season,
Yes.
companion-wise.
and everything surrounding Missy was good in that season because Michelle Rodriguez, she's just fantastic.
She was a great actress.
Great. All right, that's it. We're just about out of time anyway. I covered all the topics, so let's go around the horn, pimp our shit, and I gotta go eat some dinner so I can get ready for Get Ranked. So Jed, what's going on this week?
Well, I'm actually releasing videos this week. I put out 2 videos yesterday, and I put out a video earlier today. So if you want some news about what's going on with The Witcher, I just had a video come out about that about an hour before this stream. And then I have another Witcher video coming out tomorrow and a Doctor Who one coming out Tuesday. So if you're interested in any of that, check out Hollywood Scholar on YouTube and Kick. I'll probably be streaming Helldivers on my channel at some point with Fear the Beardo and that crew. But I will be out of town this next weekend, so I won't be around for Roundtable or Saturday Night Drive-In or anything like that. I will be very far away in a cold north place.
That being said, obviously there will be no drive-in this weekend. We are taking the weekend off, but when we come back in second week in May, before Jeremy and I will start talking Doctor Who, we're doing it's Star Wars month. So this year we're doing the prequel trilogy. We will be starting with Phantom Menace on May 11th and going all the way to the 25th, which is real Star Wars Day, where we will be doing Revenge of the Sith, followed by my annual Star Wars Day stream, where we will just open the doors. Everybody can come in. We're going to chill out, talk Star Wars, have a good time. Do what the fake fans pretend they do with their positivity. We're actually going to have fun talking Star Wars, not preaching positivity, that crap. Anyway, so join us for that. Static, what you got going on this week?
Yeah, you can find me over on my channel, Static 2020. I put out a video for once this week on the early hard R stuff about Stellar Blade. That one went really well. I'm going to do a follow-up on that now that the dust is kind of settled from what actually took place behind the censorship. And then you can find me tomorrow night. Well, you can find me tonight on Horny Alf's channel playing State of Decay 2. We're going to be fighting some zombies. You can find me on my channel tomorrow at 7 Pacific for Monday Night Bloodbath. That's politics, where we're going to talk about all the lovely, probably stuff happening at the colleges. And you know what? There's been a lot of Biden clips out this week that I need to go through. That's probably going to come up with his deteriorating brain. And then Thursday, we've got the weekend pregame at 5:30 Pacific on my channel, where me and a bunch of my buddies, Dermy, Shaka Zulu, who's in the chat, we just talk about whatever kind of weird crap I find on the internet.
All right, and thank you, Jay Fraser 360 for the £2. RIP Doctor Who. Hail Big Finish.
Absolutely.
Yes, because there's still stories out there, as Jed keeps telling me, that one day I need to go check that stuff out. So thank you, Jay Fraser, for the £2. As for myself, I will be with Static, Devil, and Horny Alf on Horny Alf's channel tonight for more State of Decay 2, where I guarantee I will make sure that my audio isn't all effed up and there's not the game mic going out. I figure out how that happened last week. Besides that, around 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll be over on Beelzebub talking Beelzehub. God damn it, I did it. Beelzehub talking Get Ranked with 80s Golden Age wrestling faces. There's going to be a lot of wrestling talk tonight over there. So we're going to have a good time over there. After that, we're probably going to a couple hours. So probably somewhere around between 9 and 10, I'm going to try and stream some Stellar Blade so we can get some more of that going. I'll continue to stream that throughout the week on my gaming on my gaming channel, Renaissance Nerd Arcade. Link in the description below with everybody else's links. Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, Mellow Mondays, we will simply talk about nerd shit wherever it's going to happen. Whatever happens there. Then throughout the week, we'll see what happens in terms of news takes. We're getting ready for Doctor Who review in 2 weeks. If you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you, go check out my Velma Season 2 review. It covers the whole thing. You get more, let's just say what you got at the beginning of the show. You get me really going more ham crazy on it all in that. And you get the actual visuals to go with what I'm saying there. Other than that, Natural 20, usually 7:30 p.m. every Wednesday night. I haven't done it for the past couple of weeks because the stories and the format, things haven't quite lined up, so I haven't done it. So we haven't. So we'll see if it happens this week or not. I don't know. Aside from Stellar Blade, eventually we'll all get together and do the Final Fantasy 14 stuff. If you are interested in joining us, let me know. It is not just an us thing. It's playing the game. If you play Final Fantasy 14, we are on Midgard Stormer. Find out more about that when we get into it later. We're just trying to have some fun with that. More of group thing. Since not all of us are playing Helldivers, we want other group stuff to hang out and do. So we're getting to that. And then, as I said, I will be on Ballbusters as usual next Friday. And then no driving this weekend, but we will be right back here, 2 p.m. Eastern, next Sunday for more Roundtable. Thanks to Static for hopping in today because we were shorthanded. And thank you, all of you in the chat, for supporting us. Without you, we don't get here. Thanks to everybody for all the new subscribers on the channel. We hope you've caught this, enjoyed. Hit that like button. Subscribe to everybody's channels. And we will see you next time, guys. Until then, take it easy. Have a good night or day wherever you may be.